All right, everybody. We're going to start today with chapter 9. All right. Hopefully, this video will bring more clarity on the nail structure and the growth of the nails. So, for you guys in the old book, it's chapter 9. In the new book, it is chapter 5. So, if you have a new book, follow along in chapter 5. The information pretty much is the same information that I'm going to cover. It's probably in different areas. It gives you a little bit more pictures in the new book to look at, which I like about it. But for those of you that have the old book, it's the same information. Just follow along. You don't have as many pictures, but you do have the same information. So let's jump right into this PowerPoint today, talking about the nail structure. Okay, the first thing we're going to jump into is talking about the natural nail. And the technical term for the natural nail that's in this PowerPoint is called onyx. So, anytime we refer to the onyx in this chapter, we're talking about the natural nail, okay? So, don't get confused about anything. We're actually talking about the natural nail. And that's a term that you need to know. We're in the new or old book. You need to know that you will have that information. So the natural nail pretty much is a hard protective plate that's composed of mainly keratin, and it's the same keratin that's located in your skin and that's located in your hair. Now you may see me look off a little bit, and if you do, because I'm actually looking at my notes that I have. I think my camera is turned. Let me turn this a little bit. Yeah. It's actually in the same book. But if you see me look off, I'm looking in my textbook, okay? So I wanted to just go through this. It's a little different. I just wanted to shed some light through a PowerPoint so this will help you understand this chapter, okay? But the natural nail is hard, and as you can touch it, you can tell it's hard, and it's made out of a keratin protein, just like our skin and just like our hair, okay? The difference is this nail keratin that we have is a little bit harder than the keratin in our skin and in our hair. And you can just touch your skin and you can touch your hair and then touch the nail plate and you can tell that keratin is a little bit different. It's a little bit harder than the keratin in our skin and in our hair. Okay. All right, so we are going to realize in this chapter 2 that our nails is an appendage of the skin. It's part of the integumentary system. So, what that is, just like my hair is an appendage of the skin, which means it grows out of the skin. So, that's what makes it an appendage if you didn't understand what appendage is, okay? And what system is it a part of? You guessed it. Now, one thing about our nails, and it's so important to know that it is going to protect our fingertips and it's going to protect our toes, the tip of our toes. That's one reason why the nail plate is there. And if you're looking at your nails right now, you're actually looking at the nail plate. And later on in this video, you will see where we are actually going to jump into the different parts of the structure of the nail, okay? But follow along whether you're in a new book or old book, okay? When I say new book or old book, I'm talking about the 14th edition of Milady, which looks like this. And then we have the 13th edition, which is the black book that most people are probably in. But that book is almost 10 years old, so we got to switch over to the new book, okay? All right, so let's look at what does a normal healthy nail look like. And so I gave you some points here of how you can tell what a healthy normal nail looks like. So it should be firm and flexible. It should be smooth and shiny. It should be unspotted. It shouldn't have any spots on there. Now, if you're doing a lot of color, you might have spots from the color, but your natural nails shouldn't have any spots there. No waves or ridges, and you can look at your nails and tell if you have waves or ridges on it. No pits. It's like a little pinhole that's in the nail. No splits. It shouldn't be splitting. Whitish, translucent, lucent, pinkish color showing through. So if I look at my nails, and even if I do this to my nails, it should show like some kind of pinkish color showing through. And in some races, the nail bed may actually look yellow instead of pinkish. It doesn't mean they have a disease or anything. If it just have a yellowish tone to it, it may be because of their race. Okay, so don't think something is going on. Okay. The next thing is we're going to talk about the water content in our nails. The water content plays a lot in the nails when it comes to gel polish, when we're trying to polish our nails, that has a lot to do with it. So the water content in natural nails is going to be depending on the humidity of where you live also, but the water content should be around 15 to 25% in the nails. Now, everybody may not be there. Some nails could be dehydrated. The lower the water content in the nail bed, the more rigid the nails will become. So, more brittle, more rigid. You may start seeing a lot of ridge lines because the water content is low. Excuse me. That's why we as hairstylists or nail techs can look at a person's nails and we can tell if that water content is low in their nails by looking at the fingernails. I'm sorry, I don't know why I got the hiccups in the middle of my PowerPoint. All right. So, a oil-based nail conditioner or a nail polish coat to coat that plate will help with that. Okay. So it'll reduce the water loss. It's going to help prevent it from escaping from the nails. It's going to improve that flexibility. So you can go to different nail stores and you can buy the nail conditioners, or you can buy those nail polishes or top coats that can kind of coat the plate. That's going to help with that water loss in the nails. Like I said, you can look at the nails and you can tell if they have a water loss. Okay. Now let's identify some nail anatomy here. And just looking at this picture here, you can tell there's some ridges that's running vertical in this client's nails here. And it could be from water loss. I also see a little dent in that nail. So let's look at the anatomy here. So you can see, and I'm gonna flip in my book real quick because me looking at the video is a little bit small there. So you see it's the nail free edge, and then you have the lateral fold, and then you have the eponychium, and you have the nail fold. Okay, so this is the anatomy of the nail. We're gonna break it down for what each part of it represents. So let's start with the nail plate. So on the nail plate, it covers the nail bed. Don't get it confused because a lot of people get the nail bed mixed with the nail plate. And you don't want to get that mixed up because the nail plate sits on top of the bed, just like when you make your bed up, you put a cover over the bed, just like your nail plate covers the nail bed. Okay, it's the most visible, relatively porous. Of course, that's the water content we talked about, and as it grows, it slides across the nail bed to grow out. Okay. And it's formed by the matrix of the nail cells. So those are hundreds of cells that's in the nail bed, in the nail bed. So there's like 100 layers of nail cells there. And as it grow, it pushes over that bed and then it extends out to like a free edge. So that's what the nail plate is. Next, we're going to talk about the free edge, and that's the part of the nail plate that actually hangs over the tip of your fingernail and your toenails. Free edge, it hangs over, okay? Simple. I shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of time on that. Your nail bed, of course, this is where all of your nerve endings, your blood supply, this is where your blood vessels are. This is where it should be appearing pinkish in the lanula area, where the lanula is just a half moon shape that's at the base of the nail. It's where you contain your nerves. It's attached to the nail plate with a thin layer of tissue called bed epithelium. And that's why when you hit your finger or if you smash your finger, it hurts so bad because it's a lot of nerve endings in your finger in your nail bed. And this is where your nails are getting nourished through that nail bed, okay? Bed epithelium, of course, they help guide the nail plate along the nail bed as it grows. That's what your bed epithelium is. Now let's look at the matrix because everybody matrix may just be designed a little bit different. So that's the area where the nail plate cells are formed. And also this contains the nerve, it contains lymph, it contains blood vessels, and this is how our nails get its nourishment from that matrix area. It extends from the underside of that nail fold at the base of the nail plate and is visible part of the matrix that extend underneath the living skin, which is called a lanula. So under there is the matrix, and you're going to find out later on that some people have long matrix, which makes the nail curve a little bit more. And so that's where people have more of a curve. Some people have fingernails a little flatter than that. So we'll jump into that a little bit later. All right. So your nail polish is actually applied to the nail plate, not the nail bed. Okay, don't get it confused. So if you're practicing on a Freddy finger that doesn't have the nail plate on it already, and you actually have to make the nail plate because it's only coming with the nail bed, and you can't put a nail over the nail bed. That's why you have some practice fingers that look like, okay, what's going on here? It looks like it's just dug out or something. It's because they're showing you that that portion of it is the nail bed, and they want you to actually build a nail plate on top of that so that you can apply your tip to the nail plate and not the nail bed. Okay. The nail bed does not have pseudoforiferous glands. The skin around it does. Pseudoforiferous glands is the same thing as sweat glands. Okay. So that lanula is that white half moon shape I was telling you guys about at the base of the nail, where white is white because it's the reflection of the light. And if you look at your thumb, you can see it the most there. If you push your skin back, or even if you don't push the cuticle back there, you can see a little half moon whitish shape at the base of the nail. That's called your lanula. All right, let's talk about cuticle. So that's dead, colorless tissues that's attached to the nail plate. And when you're given a manicure, or even if you're about to apply tips, you should do like a little mini manicure because you want to get rid of all of that dead skin or that dead cuticle that's on the nail plate so that your nail can stick better. Okay. Sometimes it can be difficult to remove. So you may have to use a cuticle remover to remove that cuticle. Did y'all get it? Remover. And there's a difference between cuticle remover and cuticle softener. Okay. In the terminology, it tells you already cuticle softener, cuticle remover. So you want to put the cuticle remover on there to help remove the cuticle, dead cuticle that's attached. All right. So you have cuticle moisturizers, you have softeners, you have conditioners, and they're designed to help for that eponychium. Eponychium is the live cuticle at the base of the nail. Those lateral side walls, the hyponychium, which the hyponychium, there's cuticle located underneath the hyponychium under the free edge. Okay, so it's not cuticle; it's the hyponychium. Okay, you got your eponychium, which is your living skin that's at the base of the nail, which we already talked about on the natural nail plate, and it's covering the matrix area. So that's why you don't need to really be cutting your eponychium because that's the live tissue that grows out of that plate there. Okay, so when people cut off that live cuticle, that's or even damage it, that's where it'll start bleeding sometime also at the base of the nail. If you push it back too much, it'll actually bleed. Perinechium is the living skin bordering the root sides of the fingernails and the toenails. Perinechium, okay? Look up your terminology, and I'm gonna flip in the book real quick because I don't want to miss something that I may have made a note about. I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover on there. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, I did cover what I wanted to cover. So, but one thing I want to say about the epinecium, that's underneath that nail plate there. I mean, that's at the base of that nail plate there. In the new book, it says that the epinecium is a thin section of the tissue found at the bottom side of your proximal nail fold. It was discovered to be surprisingly thin, approximately 0.004 to zero point zero zero 0.006 inches to 0.15 millimeters thick, uh, and consists only of one layer of stem cells. Now, that's not in the old book. That's in the new book, and that's some new information that's very, very good for us to know, because then it's telling us that the nail fold stops at the nail matrix. And so it's giving us that because it's letting us know how deep and how wide the epinecium is. And I like that about the new book, okay? So you don't want to cut yourself too deeply because you can bleed in that area. Remember that. All right. Hyponychium is slightly thickened layer of skin under the nail that lies between the fingertip and the nail plate. That's the hyponychium. Okay. Don't get it mixed up with eponychium like most students do on tests. Specialized ligaments. Uh, that's pretty much as fibrous tissues that's connected to the bone, that holds the organ in place. It's attached to the nail bed and the matrix, to the underlying bone. The ligaments are located at the base of the matrix surrounding the edge of the nail bed. And in your book, you actually have a graphic demonstrating that so that you can see what it looks like. Okay. So there are ligaments that's attaching that to the bone. Your nail folds, of course, is the folds of normal skin surrounding the nail plate. And in your book, it actually points out where your nail folds are. Okay. Pretty simple. Your nail groove are furrows on each side of the nail. And think about a dresser or something you put your clothes in. It actually has grooves that your drawer can actually slide into to help slide the drawer inside the grooves. Your side walls are known as your lateral nail folds, and it's overlapping the side of the wall. I'm sorry, I misspelled the side to the wall. So excuse my misspelling there, okay? Let's look at the longer matrix equal thicker nail plate, and a highly curved matrix creates a highly curved free edge. Okay, that's what I was trying to tell you guys earlier. So that's why most people have that highly curved matrix is making that highly curved free edge, meaning that free edge is curving. The longer that nail gets, the more it curves because of that long matrix. Okay. No product procedure can make the nail plate grow thicker than they just need a larger matrix. So some people think, well, I'll just apply this product on my nails and it's gonna make it grow for me. It's gonna make that nail plate grow out thicker. Well, actually, if you wasn't born with it, it's kind of not gonna happen for you unless that matrix is a large matrix. Okay, so it's a selling marketing tip or tactic that companies use to sell a product. It's not actually gonna make it thicker. Now, in children, the nail's going to grow more rapidly. Why? Because kids are constantly growing. They're constantly producing more cells. They produce the cells a little bit faster when they're younger than us as we mature. It starts to slow down. So the children, it'll grow more rapidly. And elderly people, the nails tend to start growing slower at a slower rate. Now, that's just scientific study. Now I know I have some people on there saying, "Well, my grandmother nails grow fast. She has long nails and her nails grow. She can cut them off and they grow fast." Well, that's. I'm not saying everybody that's old nails grow or older grow slow. I'm just saying scientific study says that elderly nails grow at a slower rate as they age. Just like our hair may slow down when we age a little bit more, the cells are not producing like they used to. And so our hair may not grow as fast, our skin may not regenerate the way it should, and our nails may not grow like it should because of the cell activity actually slowing down. But the average growth we see in an adult is 1/16 to 1/8 per month. Now, some people may get more. That's just an average. I didn't come up with it. Some scientists did. So seasons also affect how the nails grow, and we're going to jump into what season does what. So normally in the summer, it's expected that the nails will grow faster. Why? Because we're more active. We're doing more exercise. We're running more. It's hot, and so things we may be a little bit more active in the summertime than we are in the wintertime. In the wintertime, it may decide to slow down. What do we do in the wintertime? Our bodies, we stop exercising as much unless you're a health freak. Uh, and it just slows down. And so our nails do too. So you may not see as much growth in the wintertime. When you're pregnant, of course, something dramatic can happen to the nails because of your hormone change. Some women nails grow, some women nails get a little more brittle. It increased dramatically in the last trimester. It decreases after delivery, and it may return to normal once the hormones return to normal. Just like with our hair, once the hormones get back to normal, usually it take about a year. Then our hair will start back acting right, as I can say, and your nails too, because sometimes the change of the hormones during pregnancy can affect the nail growth, and sometimes it doesn't. A lot of women said during their pregnancies their nails really grow, and I can see why. All right, so nail position: your middle finger may grow faster, your thumb may grow the slowest, and on your toenails, of course, they may grow slower because they're thicker, because the matrix is a little bit longer. So it may grow a little bit slower there. But however, that's the position of growth for each one of the fingers. Let's look at a little bit of nail malformation. Um, As you can see, this toenail looks pretty at normal there. And a lot of time it's because they may have gotten an infection or infected the matrix, or they could have injured their matrix or damaged it. Now, sometimes it can permanently stay damaged like that, depending on how much damage you have in the matrix. But however, it will take 4 to 6 months to replace that new fingernail or that new toenail. For the toenail, it takes about 9 months to a year. And I had my toenail damaged just like the picture you see right there. And it literally took me a year to get my toenail back to normal. My matrix was a little damaged, so it did grow back right, so it didn't stay what we call reformed. So, or deformed. So if bumping your toes or dropping things on it can make it look like that. So you want to be careful about your toenails and bumping them and everything. Okay. And we pretty much hold on. Let me before I say the end. Let me look at this. You see where it says a person age slows down the matrix production? That is so true because as you age, your body just start to do different things, and it will slow down the growth and the production of your cells, just like with skin, like I said, skin regeneration and things of that nature. So I'm gonna go back to that slide. I'm sorry. The grooves are often not mistaken as the ridges. Matrix does not grow ridges in the nail plate, only grooves. So filing down called ridges thins. I'm sorry, let me say filing down so-called ridges thins and weakens the nail plate. That's why we tell you guys when you go get your nails done, be careful about how much they're filing down your nail plate because you don't want it to get weakened and you don't want your nails to start being broken and brittle, okay? So you want to make sure that they're not filing it down too much. Forgive me for reading that off wrong, okay? I should have put my glasses on. All right, so that's pretty much this chapter on the structure of nails. Go back and make sure you read everything because it's going to give you a little bit more fine details about things in the chapter. And I just wanted to make sure you guys read over chapter 9 in the old book, chapter 5 in the My Lady's new book. And again, the new book looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it looks like this. And I'm gonna grab the old book. Hold on, just a second. The old book looks like this. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know.